Ukraine is set to be approved as an EU candidate at a summit in Brussels later today. The country applied for membership days after the Russian invasion in February, and the process has moved at a record speed. Our correspondent Jessica Parker has more.
Ukraine's national anthem, heard today in the heart of the EU. Over 1,000 miles away, the country's capital, Kyiv. But the European Union now feeling a little closer.
That's great, but that's something what will happen much later. And now, if we lose this war, it will mean nothing.
I really want our country to become a candidate for European Union because I would like our country to be more powerful.
However, this is a country at war, not in control of parts of its own territory. No one knows how long the conflict will last. But in Brussels, Ukrainian officials say they're determined to press ahead, ready to carry out at least some reforms required by the EU, even while the fighting goes on.
The real integration process will start when the war is over. But in the meanwhile, when we are talking about those recommendations, I see the potential to implement, if not, but some of them even now.
But this is a family that isn't easy to join. Leaders from the Western Balkans testify to that.
North Macedonia is candidate since 17 years, Albania since 8. So welcome to Ukraine. It's a good thing to give candidate status, but I hope the Ukrainian people will not make many illusions about it.
This is the red carpet that EU leaders walk down at summits. It's where Ukraine wants to be. All the warnings that this is a long road without any guarantee of success are all true. Nevertheless, this is still being regarded as a historic moment. Giving Ukraine candidate status here and now, diplomats say, wouldn't have been imaginable not long ago. Jessica Parker, BBC News in Brussels.
Earlier, I spoke to Alexander Sushko, the director of the International Renaissance Foundation.
First of all, we understand that war has created these political preconditions to solve this problem and to decide on the side of the European Union, which was hesitating for many years, as I said. And now we do not expect that this decision will change the war situation immediately. But strategically, it will contribute to the strategic defeat of Putin, because previously he has been using this phenomena of the gray zone in the Eastern Europe. So there was no strategic direction on the side of the European Union, and now it's changing. So for Putin, it will be even more difficult to continue its aggressive policy, as far as there is clear indication from Europe that Ukraine will be a part of it.
How do you think President Putin will respond to this?
We do not think that he will immediately respond, because he already responded with all his means available, started the war. And so this will not change significantly his behavior immediately.
That's Alexandra Sushko from the International Renaissance Foundation. So as the EU considers whether Ukraine can join the European bloc, the fighting continues on the ground in Kyiv. Let's find out the latest from our correspondent there, Joe Inwood.
The focus of Russia's invasion remains the Donbass, the east of this country, specifically the twin towns of Lysychansk and Severodonetsk. We understand from the Ukrainians there's been a stepping up in the weight of artillery barrages, of aerial bombardment, and the Ukrainians are struggling to cope with it, frankly. The Russians have pushed closer to the city of Lysychansk. Coming in from the south, they've taken more villages, we understand, and the other side of the river, they're tightening their grip on the city of Severodonetsk. They've been in control of most of it for a while now. The Ukrainians push back just into a small pocket. And right across the eastern front, they are making advances, we understand. Now, that is why the Ukrainians are calling for more artillery, and more artillery urgently, to try and give them some ability to combat the massive bombardments that the Russians can bring. But it's not just in the east that we have developments today. Here in the capital, there is a trial, a war crimes trial, the third one that's been brought since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. It's a young man by the name of Mikhail Romanov. He was a Russian soldier, and he stands accused of breaking into a house, of shooting a man and raping his wife, raping a woman there. Now, we should say this is a trial taking place behind closed doors and in absentia. He is not in the custody of the Ukrainians. It's worth saying that this is the third war crimes trial that's taken place since the start of this conflict. But those trials have all been of soldiers. And really, the catharsis that the Ukrainians say they need is going to come with the trials of the people who are responsible for this invasion. And that is a long, long way away.